The cheaters live with the idea that sooner or later they will be caught. It's just inevitable. My wife cheated on me even before our official wedding began, and I believed and trusted her. How naive I was. Now she will pay for all the pain she caused me. I will not just leave it like that. Shauna Field stood behind her boss's desk at 6:30 in the morning, gazing out of the window, a daily ritual since she began the day by preparing Tate Morgan's specialty imported coffee and organizing his schedule and necessary notes. Tate Morgan was the CEO of the corporation founded by his father, Winston Morgan. His mother served as chairman of the board, and though his sister held the position of public relations manager, she had become less active since her husband, Alan Brown, ran for Senate a few years ago. Shauna sipped her Folgers coffee as she watched out the window, knowing that Tate's silver Jaguar would arrive in the parking lot sometime between 6:30 and 7, precisely as scheduled. She had his routine down to the minute. He woke up at 5, hit the treadmill by 5:15, catching up on the news as he jogged for half an hour. It was important to Shauna that she waited until Tate arrived to pour his fresh cup of coffee, always ensuring it was hot and ready. She also had a carafe of ice water and a kind bar prepared for him. These gestures seemed trivial to others, but to Shauna, going the extra mile was her personal mantra, especially for Tate. When she saw his car pull in, she moved to pour the coffee, leaving it on his desk as she returned to her own workspace. She looked up from her tablet as he entered the room, savoring her favorite part of the day, the moment he walked in. She observed the friendly, tall, broad-shouldered blond man enter with an air of confidence as though he owned the room. He was impeccably dressed in a crisp, expensive suit, always clean-shaven with neatly styled short hair parted to the side. She admired his smooth, purposeful stride and large hands as he entered, carrying a briefcase and draped in a topcoat. His smile upon seeing her made her certain that his blue eyes twinkled. "Good morning, Mr. Morgan," she greeted. "Good morning, Shauna," he replied. "How's my favorite assistant today?" "Great, sir. Your calendar is synced and ready for review. You have 4 appointments today and the notes are on your desk." "Thank you. I'm expecting a call from my wife this morning. Please interrupt any meeting if she calls. She flew to Washington, D.C. last night to support my sister after her husband filed for divorce last month." "Oh, no. I hoped they would reconcile," she sympathized. "Good riddance to him. But my sister's a mess. She feels like her chance at being First Lady vanished. My wife feels bad for her and went to offer support." "I'm sorry, Mr. Morgan. I know how much Carly means to you. It must be tough for her after Senator Brown. She brought it upon herself. Their swinging lifestyle wasn't as discreet as they thought. I warned her, but what do I know? Just her brother." He shrugged. Senator Alan Brown found himself on the debate stage contending for the Democratic presidential nomination when news broke of his wife's affair with her female assistant. Initially disastrous, the fallout was skillfully managed by his PR team, resulting in a surprising increase in his poll numbers. The sympathy of his supporters seemed poised to secure his path to the Democratic nomination. Reflecting on the situation, he remarked, "Carly always had to have things her way. Her charisma is so powerful that people simply yield to her will. I suppose the other woman's husband didn't comply. Now we're all dealing with the consequences." Turning to his assistant, he responded, "The press hasn't contacted us recently, but this might prompt some inquiries. Should I draft a statement, or should we stick with no comment?" "No, I want to steer clear of her issues for now. If they call, tell them no comment. We don't want the campaign entangled in her personal matters. My mother will already be upset enough as it is." Tate's wife, Bella, sat down for coffee with his sister that morning. Carly appeared more disheveled than Bella had ever seen her, causing concern. Bella had always admired Carly's beauty and elegance, but that morning she looked like a complete mess. Before the recent scandal, Carly wouldn't have been caught dead in front of guests without perfectly styled hair, expertly applied makeup, and stylish, beautiful clothes. However, That morning, she woke up without taking a shower, forgot to comb her hair and brush her teeth, did not put on makeup at all, and did not even bother to dress properly. "Bella, I'm going to disappear quietly. I'll stay away from the press as much as possible. I don't want to damage Alan's chances of becoming president any more than I already have. His campaign manager actually believes that divorcing me will help him," Carly said. "It's ridiculous that he gets off without consequences. He was also sleeping with her, among others," Bella retorted. "I know, but he's destined to achieve great things for the country. He needs to have a chance. I just hope my foolishness hasn't harmed him. I shouldn't have brought that new girl into our lives. She was just so beautiful, I couldn't resist," Carly confessed. "After he finishes his term, maybe we can resume our relationship. Despite our current problems, our love persists, and I haven't done anything that he wouldn't approve of or that I wouldn't do myself. It's just a bad idea that I'm in this situation. Carly, go take a shower, and I'll clean up here. We need to get you back on your feet. How about we run away somewhere?" "Of course. We can leave at any time. The company's plane is already here." Carly got up and walked over to Bella. She stroked her cheek and leaned in for a kiss. Bella responded to the kiss with alacrity. You taste amazing, my dear," Carly remarked when she found nut cream in Bella's coffee. It was a stormy night for Bella and Carly. When Bella arrived at Carly's apartment, the beauty could barely stand on her feet, being heavily intoxicated. Bella helped Carly get into bed, taking advantage of her lover's drunken state to satisfy her desires. Bella has been close to Carly, and sometimes to Alan, since she married Tate 5 years ago. Carly was one of her bridesmaids, and they made love for the first time in the bridal room at the church. Bella was worried that Tate might catch Carly's scent on her breath at the altar, but he never did, and in all these years he never suspected anything. Shauna informed Mr. Morgan over the intercom that his wife was on line 1. Tate picked up the phone and greeted her, asking about her condition. "She's a mess. When I arrived, the place was a disaster and she was completely drunk. It was a struggle to get her to bed," she replied. "Take care of her and make sure she stays sober. My mother doesn't need any more stress because of her actions," Tate instructed. "I will. I think I should take her away from D.C. for a few days. I'm planning to bring her to Napa Valley, visit some wineries, and distract her from Alan with beautiful scenery," she suggested. "And the sober part?" Tate queried. "Oh, Tate, don't be like that. She needs to relax. I'll look after her. We'll stay at my favorite vineyard with the cozy cottage," she assured him. "Just keep her out of trouble and maintain a low profile. She doesn't need any more issues," Tate reminded her. "I'll keep her occupied in her room. Love you, bye," she replied before hanging up. Bella entered the bathroom and saw Carly standing and applying lotion to her skin. "Can I help you?" Bella asked. "Yes, dear. I'd like you to give me a massage," Carly replied. Bella took Carly's hand and led her to the bed. She took some lotion and began massaging Carly's back, relieving tension from her muscles. Her massage quickly turned into intimacy. "You always do the best massage," Carly murmured. "It gives me pleasure." "A little thanks for last night," Bella replied. "Yes, but I was very drunk. It's a pity that I passed out before my turn," Carly joked. "Get dressed and pack a bag. I'll book us a room at a bed and breakfast in Napa," Bella said, taking out her phone. Later that day, they encountered the media gathered for Carly, seeking her reaction to the divorce papers being delivered. "Ugh, I can't stand the press," Carly remarked. "Just say no comment and we'll navigate through them to the car." "It's ready," her companion advised. They strolled past the reporters and successfully reached the car without interruption. One reporter whispered to another, "Who was that woman with her? She didn't look like the personal assistant from the scandal. Maybe she's another romantic interest." Interesting. The next morning, Tate was jogging on the treadmill while tuned into MSNBC when a startling headline caught his eye. It featured his wife holding Carly's hand as they boarded a private plane. The host remarked, Carly Brown, shortly after receiving divorce papers, was spotted leaving D.C. with an unidentified woman. Not the one on the infamous tape. Could this be a new romantic interest? They then spent 5 minutes discussing the impact of the story on Alan Brown's chances of securing the Democratic presidential nomination. Despite the scandal, he surprisingly maintained his lead in polls and had more delegates than his rival. Tate angrily hurled the remote at the TV and stormed off to shower. Looks like our efforts to stay out of the limelight have gone out the window, he muttered to himself. As he drove into the office parking lot, he noticed Shauna waiting for him in the window. He smiled, pleased to see her there as usual, faithfully starting her day. Her presence always brightened his mornings as she greeted him from her desk. Yet he couldn't shake the contrast between the vibrant woman he saw every morning and the melancholy figure in the window. He wondered what troubled her. Despite her competence, good pay, and a young son she adored, she seemed burdened. He considered if it might involve personal relationships, though she never spoke of her child's father or mentioned dating. Their interactions remained strictly professional. They never socialized beyond work events. Recalling a dinner party he hosted for company executives, where Shauna was also present, he remembered her professionalism. His wife Bella had once teased him about Shauna's apparent interest in him, though he dismissed it as jealousy. As he entered her outer office through the glass door, he caught her glance from her desk and saw her smile. "Good morning, Mr. Morgan." "Good morning, Shauna. If any reporters call today, connect them to me. I need to straighten things out." "It's not true, is it?" she asked. "The rumor about my wife and sister?" "No. Those press fools don't realize they're sisters-in-law." Phew, thank goodness. Later that morning, his personal cell phone rang and he answered his mother's call. "Yeah, Mom, I know," Tate said. "Reporters have been calling non-stop. I told them they're just sisters-in-law, so hopefully it'll blow over. Tate, you need to keep her out of sight. Have her stay hidden somewhere until this blows over." "I agree, Mom. I already told Carly the same and left another message for Bella to keep her indoors. We need to avoid any more publicity." "Thanks, son. Keep me updated." "Good to see you again, Mrs. Morgan. Is Mr. Morgan not joining you this time?" asked the clerk at the registration desk. The venue was a quaint tasting room in a vineyard. It featured 6 shelves stocked with various wines neatly arranged like books in a library, with additional offerings displayed on 4-foot shelves along the outer walls. In the center of the room stood a horseshoe-shaped bar where tastings took place, and guests could also enjoy glasses of wine. Surrounding the small cottage-style building was a deck furnished with tables and chairs, offering patrons a place to enjoy bottles of wine alongside snacks while soaking in views of the vineyard and the hills in the background. A disused service road ran behind the vines, approximately 150 yards from the main buildings. "No, I'm here with my sister-in-law. Let's keep it low-key. We prefer to keep our presence quiet," Bella replied. "Of course, ma'am." "I'm sorry. The cottages are fully booked. However, we do have an apartment available. It's our largest one with a balcony overlooking the vineyard and 2 double beds. Here's the key. It's room 3. Bella smiled. "Thank you. That sounds perfect." She was delighted to be back at one of her favorite places in the world. Despite Tate's wealth allowing them to travel anywhere, she had a special fondness for wine country. The vineyard offered 3 small apartments and 2 cottages available for bed and breakfast rentals. Normally, Bella and Tate would rent a cottage, but she and Carly were fortunate to secure any accommodation on short notice. It would certainly meet her needs for the visit. They put their bags on the unoccupied bed and started kissing. "This week is going to be amazing, darling. That's exactly what I've been missing. Carly, I'm going to get some things I need for the room. It's better if you keep a low profile for now." "I understand." Tate wrote a message. "Mom is unhappy." She opened the balcony door and admired the vineyard and the rolling hills beyond. "This is my favorite place to relax," Bella remarked. Bella kissed her on the spacious covered balcony. Bella pulled away, kissed her again, and headed to the store. The paparazzi photographer couldn't believe his fortune. He received a tip that Carly Brown, accompanied by an unidentified woman, would be landing at Sonoma County Airport on a private plane. He hurried to the airport and managed to arrive before them. From a discreet vantage point, he observed and captured photos as they rented a car and packed up. He trailed them to a vineyard bed and breakfast, taking note as they checked into a building with apartments. There were 2 on the ground floor and 1 on the top, featuring a balcony. Surveying the area, he noticed a service road behind rows of grapevines that could offer excellent concealment for snapping shots. His luck held when he discovered they had booked the only room with a balcony. His telescopic lens proved invaluable as they unexpectedly shared a kiss while standing on it. "Thank goodness for telescopic lenses," he mused. "This shot will secure my child's education." The following morning, Shauna sat with a cup of coffee as her mother entered the kitchen. "Morning, Mom." "Good morning, dear. Mickey's awake but still in bed reading." "Yeah, I noticed. I wish he'd sleep in longer, but at least he stays in his room. He's an early riser like you, but he takes a good nap in the afternoons, just like his grandma. He's such a great kid. I feel so lucky to have him. I don't know where I'd be without him. Everyone has their own destiny. He was yours. You needed him to settle down. I couldn't have done it." "I know, Mom. I'm grateful every day that I got my act together and landed the job with Mr. Morgan." "Me too." Shauna smiled, placed her cup in the sink, and headed out to work. She had moved her mother in to help care for Mickey after buying the house. Before that, they had shared a small apartment, and her mother had commuted across town daily to look after Mickey. Shauna left home at 4:45 each morning and could reach the office by 5. Though she didn't officially start until 7 according to Tate's wishes, she made sure to be ready by 5 in case he needed her. There had been instances where he required her to book flights or cancel meetings early in the morning, and she was glad she could promptly assist him without delay. As she drove to the office, she listened to the news on the radio. The lead story was about the photo of Bella and Carly kissing. "Oh my God!" she exclaimed, slamming on the brakes. Lost in the radio broadcast, she had nearly run a red light. Glancing at the clock, 4:50, she knew Tate wouldn't be awake yet, but once he found out, he'd need her. She pulled over, quickly searching for the story on her phone. "Oh no," she thought when she saw the picture. She swiftly decided to head to Tate's house instead of the office. Though she harbored feelings for her married boss, she could support him through the impending ordeal. At Tate's house, he was making coffee when the doorbell rang. Who on earth is ringing at 5 in the morning? He wondered. Opening the door, he found Shauna standing there. "Hello, Shauna. I know I'm a cool boss, but isn't this early for a visit?" Tate quipped. "Tate, turn on the news," she exclaimed urgently as she rushed past him. He was more surprised that she called him Tate than by her urgency. She never did that. He found it oddly pleasing. "I heard it on my way in. I can't believe it's true," Shauna said. She knew Tate hadn't seen the news yet because he didn't start his treadmill routine until 5:15. He followed her into his den where she had already turned on Fox News. "Fox, Shauna?" he teased, knowing he usually watched MSNBC. And then he noticed it. The photo showed Carly and Bella kissing. The headline read, "Girly Brown Caught with Sister-in-Law." He sank into a chair, covering his face with his hands. Shauna knelt down next to him and put her hand on his shoulder. "Maybe it's a fake or something like that? There must be an explanation," she suggested. A tear rolled down his cheek as he looked up and exclaimed, "Damn, hero!" He stood up abruptly and rushed upstairs. Shauna followed him, asking, "What are you going to do, Mr. Morgan?" "Ah, now I'm Mr. Morgan again, right?" she thought, preparing the package. She blushed and said, "I'm sorry. I was in a panic. It won't happen again." Don't worry, Tate is okay, he reassured. I'm going to intervene and put an end to whatever nonsense they're up to. Shauna, clear my schedule for the rest of the week. I need to go to Napa. Book me on the next available flight. Right away, sir. Shauna? His voice softened. Yes, sir? Thank you for being here. I'm always where you need me, sir. She turned and left to retrieve her tablet from the car and arrange his flight. He watched her go, admiring her figure in the slacks that accentuated her heart-shaped behind. He had a thing for tall women, and she fit the bill perfectly. Her curly red hair, pulled back tightly in a ponytail, was still slightly damp, reminding him of her early morning dedication. Does she always head to work this early? He wondered. How have I never noticed that before? Good morning, my pet. Good morning, Carly, Bella murmured, caressing her lover's chest. Feeling hungry? I'm starving. It's already 10 o'clock. We can still grab breakfast until 10:30, though. They have a delightful selection of fresh fruit, and they'll whip up omelets with locally sourced ingredients. Sounds good. Let's have breakfast and then come back here for some dessert. Carly reached for her phone, but Bella intercepted it. No phones, no TV. We're here to unwind. And you don't need the stress of news about your divorce. You're right. Let's shower quickly and head downstairs. No games in there. We need to hurry if we want to make it to breakfast. You're such a buzzkill. Tate's plane arrived in California at 10 a.m. local time. A rented car was waiting for him, but the trip to the vineyard took an hour. At about 11:30 a.m., he arrived at the winery bed and breakfast where the women were staying. They've just returned to their room. Upon seeing the owner of the bar, Tate greeted him. Good morning, George. Good morning, Mr. Morgan. You just missed them. They finished breakfast and returned to the room. Okay, can I get another key to their room? Of course, Marla will get it for you. Tate asked George's wife for the keys to his wife and sister's room. She smiled as she handed over the keys and said, Glad you came, Mr. Morgan. Enjoy your stay. He nodded and left. During the flight, he had time to calm down, and he hoped that this was all a misunderstanding. They were wearing clothes in the photo. Perhaps it was just an ill-chosen picture that looked worse than it really was, he thought. Tate inserted the old-fashioned key into the lock and turned the knob. As soon as he opened the door, he heard noises, and he almost threw up at the sight of his wife with his sister. He quickly took a picture on his mobile phone and entered the room. He shouted, How dare you? The women jumped up and Bella exclaimed, Tate, what are you doing here? Annul the marriage. I can't believe you're cheating on me with my sister. Damn it. Tate, you don't understand, Carly protested. To hell with it, Carly. Don't ever talk to me again. You jerk were caught kissing and touching each other. It's all over the news again. I was hoping it was staged or an innocent act, but obviously not. Tate, darling, I love you. It was... Just stop it, Bella. Spare me these cliches. There is no excuse for this. It's a hoax. There is. It's done. No, Tate, please listen. It's not her fault. Shut up, Carly. I hope you're happy. You've ruined another marriage. Mom's going to have a stroke. He turned around and left them sobbing in the room. When he came to the front desk, the owner said, I just saw it on the news, Mr. Morgan. I'm sorry. Fortunately, there are no press on the street yet, but they are already approaching. It doesn't matter, George. I'm not staying, he replied, throwing the key on the table. They can sort out their mess on their own. He sat in his rental car and phoned Shauna, his trusted confidant. Shauna, I caught them in the act. It's true, they were close. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm heading back to Sonoma County Airport. Please arrange the soonest flight home for me. Already on it, sir. The media won't stop calling and your mother came by. She's there? Yes. Jesus, it must be chaos. Pretty much, sir. She's all over the place, upset and taking it out on everyone. I told her you were in the air so she wouldn't bother you. Well, once the chairman is angry, everything goes downhill fast. She'll figure out I'm not airborne soon. I'll call her now. Please finalize my ticket. It's done. I took care of it while we were talking. Your flight departs at 2 local time. Thank you. I don't know what I'd do without you, Shauna. She blushed at his gratitude and replied softly, You're welcome. I caught them, Mom. My own sister and my wife had an affair. I'm going to talk to her straight, Tate. How could she betray us like that? And you? I do not know, but I completely break off all relations with her. I am seriously considering suspending her from her job at the company. That's understandable, son. She's just a PR disaster right now. You have every reason to fire her. I just want Dad to be here and see what she's become. Maybe she has some kind of addiction. It just doesn't make sense. What about Bella? It's over between us. I can't stay with someone who's cheating. I'm really sorry. At least you don't have children together. Yes, it will be a complete breakup. The prenuptial agreement clarifies everything. Did she give any explanation? I couldn't stay to listen to them. When I saw them together, I felt sick. Good. Have a nice flight. I'll take care of everything here. Shauna has everything under control. You have nothing to worry about, he said, trying to shield his men from Shauna's anger. She's amazing. You're lucky to have it. I know. Okay, Mom. I'll keep you posted. What should I do, Carly? Bella asked. To fight. You're going to fight. Alan and I are different. I don't want to jeopardize his election. You shouldn't care about that. He's not answering my calls. I need to get home. We'll call you back, but you need a plan. Hasty actions will not help. I can't believe we got caught. I thought this place was completely isolated. Why was I such a fool to kiss you? Why did I contact you at all? Stop it, Carly screamed. You're not stupid. You have needs that your husband cannot satisfy. He needs to understand that you need what a woman can offer, no less than he does as a man. He'll accept it. He loves you. He just needs time to calm down. God, I hope you're right. I can't bear to lose him. I love him so much. You need to put as much blame on me as possible. I'm already an outcast in my family. If I take the blame on myself, it won't affect me. Listen to yourself. It's your fault. You really pushed me to do this many years ago. I shouldn't have messed with you. Oh, please. You were fired up with desire 10 minutes after my first flirtation. Don't forget that it was you who wanted Alan. You better hope he doesn't find out about Alan, or you're finished. With me, at least you can tell it wasn't a man. God, I hope I can fix this, Bella said, realizing that her chances were slim. Tate entered his silent house and dropped his bags on the floor. He had been ignoring his wife's calls and messages until now, but he finally decided to return her call. Tate, please listen. I'm on my way home. We really need to talk and sort this out. I love you. Our marriage can't be over. Don't come home, Bella. I need a few days to cool off. I'll call you on Sunday and arrange a time for us to meet and talk. Okay. I'll get a room at the Hyatt and wait for your call. Tate, please believe me when I say I love you with all my heart. Fine. I'm giving you one chance to explain. If you lie to me, it's over. Trust me. I know more than you think. He hadn't actually uncovered anything. He hoped his bluff would prompt her to come clean. He needed to understand why she had done this to him. I promise I'll tell you everything. I love you, Tate. I'm sorry I've hurt you. We'll see. He ended the call without saying, I love you, for the first time. He thought about calling Shauna, but decided against disturbing her so late. He would call her in the morning and inform her he was taking the day off. Taking Friday off wouldn't be a problem, and he planned to go in on Saturday to resolve any outstanding issues. Tate glanced at the clock and noted it was 6:15 a.m. He felt a pang of disappointment knowing he wouldn't see Shauna waiting for him that day. However, he smiled at the image of her peering out into the darkness, anticipating his arrival. He picked up the phone and dialed her number. Shauna had just finished preparing coffee and was about to take her place by the window when her phone rang. Seeing Tate's name, she answered in a professional tone. Good morning, Mr. Morgan. Shauna, I won't be coming in today. Handle any urgent matters yourself and contact me only if there's something you can't manage or that can't wait. Yes, sir. I'll take care of everything. Is there anything else I can assist you with? No, I'm going to sort things out for the divorce. With a touch of sadness, she responded, I'm sorry to hear that, sir. It must be tough. It's damn heartbreaking. 5 years of marriage wasted. I still don't have all the answers and I don't know why this happened, but I'll talk to her on Sunday. Maybe I'll get some clarity, though I expect I'll just hear excuses. Sir, should I have Vivian James look into this? Vivian was the company's private investigator. Good idea. See if Viv can dig up any background. Start with that personal assistant and her husband who caused Carly's divorce. Also, Bella will be at the Hyatt. I'll get right on it, sir. I'm here if you need anything. You always are. Thank you. Hi, Viv, it's Shauna. Mr. Morgan needs your assistance with a task. Hi, Shauna, I was expecting to hear from you. What does he need? He wants background information on his wife and sister's relationship. Find out details like duration, frequency, and any other relevant information. Got it. Is there anything else? He also wants you to keep an eye on her. He wants to ensure she stays within bounds. She's currently at the Hyatt. Okay, I'll handle it. Viv, this is a top priority. Absolutely. I'll provide updates to you and you can pass them on to Mr. Morgan. Thank you. On Saturday morning, Tate arrived at the office and noticed his office light was on. However, he didn't see Shauna waiting for him, then realized it was Saturday and she wouldn't be there. As he entered the building and passed through the main foyer to the executive suite, he approached his outer office where Shauna usually sat. Opening the door cautiously, he heard noises coming from his closed office. Seeing no sign of Shauna, he hesitated briefly before entering. Inside, he discovered a young child playing with toy train cars. Hello there, what's your name? Tate asked. I'm Mickey. Mommy said I should wait here, the child replied. Oh, I see. Tate nodded, sitting down on the floor beside the boy. Where did your mommy go? She went to get me some juice and crackers. Tate chuckled softly. That explains why there's apple juice in my fridge. What game are you playing? Trains. I have tracks at home, but here these lines work too. You're right, Mickey. A moment later, Shauna arrived and nearly teared up at the sight of Tate rolling a toy train while Mickey made choo-choo sounds. Good morning, sir. I apologize for this. I bring him in on Saturdays to give my mom a break on weekends if it's a problem, Shauna started. It's not a problem, Tate interrupted with a smile. I haven't played with trains in years. She smiled as she handed the juice and cookies to Mickey. Mickey, let's make sure we're not in Mr. Morgan's way. He has work to do. Okay, Mom. No, Shauna, he's fine, Mr. Morgan said. I'm just going to check emails and put out any fires from yesterday. What brings you here, by the way? I usually come in for a couple of hours on Saturday mornings, Shauna replied. It helps make Monday mornings smoother. Ah, I see. Also, I wanted to ask if you always head to work at 5 a.m. Yes, I do. I like to ensure everything's ready for you when you arrive. I don't want you to wait if you need me. And your mother watches Mickey? Shauna nodded. Isn't that tough on her? No, sir. She lives with us and is an early riser, too. So it's not a problem. You know I appreciate everything you do for me. She smiled and replied, Yes, of course. Well, I won't keep you then. Don't worry about my train buddy here. We're okay. Thank you, sir. Tate was beginning to understand the effort behind the scenes. He hadn't grasped how much extra time Shauna devoted to her work. This realization prompted him to be more attentive and not take smooth operations for granted. He acknowledged the significant effort and personal sacrifice Shauna made to ensure everything ran seamlessly for him. Shauna? Yes, sir? Please send your mother a bouquet of flowers from me. She'll appreciate that, sir. I'll send her favorite ones. Thank you. After an hour of responding to emails, Tate asked Mickey, "What's your favorite breakfast?" "Pancakes." "What kind? Chocolate chip?" He grinned and nodded. Tate approached Shauna and said, "Finish up, Shauna. We're heading out for pancakes." "You don't have to do that." "Why not? I'm hungry, and Mickey here loves chocolate chip pancakes." Shauna smiled. "Those are reserved for special occasions." "All right then. Let's make it a special treat morning. We'll go to Apple Villa. They serve the best pancakes." "Okay, thanks." Shauna tried to contain her excitement. Tate was not only great with her son, but was also taking them out for breakfast. She had never socialized with him outside of work functions, even when he hosted parties for employees at his home. She knew Tate was dealing with issues concerning Bella, and she didn't want to intrude. Maintaining professional boundaries was important to her, even though she couldn't help but feel attracted to him. Not just professionally, but personally as well. They secured a booth at the restaurant, and he insisted that Mickey sit with him so they could color together on the placemat. "He's quite messy when he eats, sir. You might regret that," she remarked. "What 5-year-old isn't messy? We'll manage. And Shauna, you can call me Tate. We're not at work." "Yes, sir." He frowned and added, "That also means no sir business." Mickey gave him an elbow bump and asked, "What was that for?" "Bad word." "Ah, I'll be careful." Shauna burst into laughter, feeling happier than she had in years. As they departed the restaurant, Tate expressed gratitude. "Thanks for having breakfast with me. I needed the company. I needed to take my mind off Carly and Bella for a bit." "You're welcome. I hope things turn out okay for you." "I doubt it. Divorce seems inevitable. It's just a matter of time. I can't tolerate cheaters." His words struck a chord with her. He was unaware of her own marital struggles, and she hoped he wouldn't inquire further. She didn't want him to view her differently. "Viv, what do you have?" "He's meeting with her today and wants as much information as possible," Shauna said early Sunday morning. "I spoke to Carly's PA, who was involved in the tape. She was reluctant to share details, but didn't know much about Carly and Bella's relationship. She mentioned knowing Bella, but nothing personal." "What else?" "I need more time to investigate further. Right now, I can't confirm any past involvement between them. It's still too early to draw that conclusion." "All right. Thank you. Please continue digging." "What about the surveillance?" "She hasn't left her room for the past few days. Carly was her only visitor." "Interesting. Carly left after half an hour, so it doesn't seem like anything significant happened." "Okay, thanks. Keep monitoring her." Shauna called Tate to give him the preliminary report. "Shauna, are you working on Sunday?" "No, sir. I just wanted to update you on what Vivian has uncovered." "Okay. Anything concerning?" "No, sir. She needs more time. There's no evidence of a relationship before this week." "All right, I suppose that's good news. Have her continue with it." "Already on it, sir." "Thank you, Shauna." Bella's phone rang, and she felt a surge of hope when she saw Tate's name on the screen. "Hello, Tate." "Bella, come to the house at noon. You have 30 minutes to explain and convince me why we should remain married." Tears welled up in her eyes. "All right, darling. I love you so much." "Don't say it, Bella. If you truly loved me, we wouldn't be dealing with this." He ended the call while she sobbed uncontrollably. At noon, Bella entered her house, hoping it would remain hers. She had no clue about the outcome of their conversation. Tate stood in the kitchen, waiting. He was sipping on a Miller Lite when she took a seat at the table. "It's up to you, Bella." "Tate, I love you deeply. Please, never doubt that. What we share is different from what happened with Carly." "How long?" "The first time was 5 years ago." "Jesus Christ. How soon after the wedding did it begin?" She paled at the question, but knew she had to be honest to have any chance. Actually, it started on our wedding day. Shit, he exclaimed. She recoiled from his reaction. Continuing, she explained, we drank champagne all morning while we were getting ready. By the time we got to the church, I was pretty tipsy. Somehow we were alone before the ceremony. For no reason at all, she kissed me. I was shocked. I still don't know why, but I did it to her. In the church? Right before our wedding? God, you're so promiscuous. She started crying and continued, I can't explain it. She attracted me, and it seemed to me that this was the only thing I wanted to do. I had dated women before in college, so my bisexuality was familiar to me. Damn it, yes, it was like that. Do I even know who you are? Tate, I'm the woman you fell in love with. There's just a part of me that you didn't know. Part of it? Sleeping with my sister on our wedding day is a huge event for me. Have you been doing this all these years? Yes, but only from time to time. Were there others? It was a critical moment for Bella. Should she tell him about Alan or not? She thought he didn't know about Alan, so she lied. I swear no one else was involved, it was only Carly, and then only because she satisfied a certain need. Ah, now I understand why you've always denied me intimacy. You used your relationship with Carly as an excuse. You deny everything, so why should we stay married? Tate, I love you. Until you found out about it, we were happy. We were planning to start a family. That's another thing you've robbed me of. No. We still can. We can go to a psychologist. We can stay together forever. She was devastated and had nothing more to say. Tate listened to all her rehearsed excuses from the Book of the Cheater and couldn't take it anymore. That's the end of it, then. You've never been loyal to me. You've been unfaithful, and to make it worse, with my own sister. You even disrespected me on our wedding day. I can't continue to be married to you. She cried and pleaded. No. Yes, it's over between us. I'm filing for divorce and enforcing the prenup. You won't get anything more than what's required. I'll leave you to yourself now. You can pack your things. I won't change the locks until it's finalized. I hope you won't make me regret that. I'm so sorry, Tate. I love you so much. Yeah, you've said that before. He walked away, leaving her in tears at the table. Tate sat in his mother's family room awaiting her arrival to discuss Carly. Well? How did it go? Mrs. Morgan asked as she entered the room. Horribly, Tate replied. Carly seduced her on my wedding day, and it's been ongoing since then. On your wedding day? Good Lord. Yeah, needless to say, my marriage is over. I can't stay with her. I understand, I don't blame you. But we need to manage the media fallout. It's in the news every day, and our stock price is down 5%. I know. I'm going to push Carly to resign and announce it tomorrow before the market opens. That should address our problem. Her shares are protected by Dad's trust, so I won't touch those. I vote them by proxy anyway. That's fine, but your impending divorce may affect us too. Perhaps. I'll announce that the split is amicable and won't impact the company. She won't get any of my shares due to the prenup. Goodness, what a mess your sister has caused. We need to get her into therapy right away. There's something clearly wrong with her. Absolutely. She's a narcissist. Thinks she can do as she pleases without considering the consequences. After today, I won't speak to her directly. I just can't forgive what she did to me. I understand. Hopefully our family can recover from this someday. Tate was far from optimistic. Tate tried to reach Carly, but reached her voicemail instead. Carly, tomorrow morning I'll be issuing a press release about your resignation. I won't pursue your shares, so you'll maintain ownership as per the trust agreement. I'll continue to vote your shares. Please handle this quietly. Your actions have caused significant issues for the family and the company. Mother expects you to start seeing a therapist as well. Your issues with addiction, narcissism, or whatever else they call it, have had a destructive impact on your life. We're all suffering because of it. Upon hearing Tate's message, Carly cried. She didn't believe she had a problem. She thought everyone else did. Modern marriages shouldn't be constrained by outdated monogamy rules, she pondered. Deciding against calling Tate, she feared he would yell at her and call her names. To hell with him and his hypocritical moral standards, she thought. Instead, she texted him. I resign voluntarily. I won't cause any more problems for the company or the family. Shauna gazed out of the window, anticipating Tate's arrival. She reflected on the delightful breakfast they had shared earlier. Tate had been exceptionally kind to Mickey, who eagerly asked if Tate would come over again to play trains with him. Her feelings were conflicted. On one hand, she hoped Tate would become available so she could pursue happiness with him. On the other hand, she feared his inquiries about her past, knowing she couldn't deceive him. When Tate pulled into the parking lot, he spotted Shauna at the window, waiting for him as she did every morning. He enjoyed seeing her there, wondering if he could transition from divorce straight into a relationship with his beautiful assistant. Is there a fraternization policy? He pondered, realizing he relied on Shauna for such information. Entering Shauna's outer office, Tate caught her gaze, greeted by her usual bright smile. Good morning, Mr. Morgan, she greeted warmly. Hello, Shauna, he replied, observing her eyes scanning him up and down. Playfully, he teased, Did I spill something? Huh? No, I was just checking, Shauna stammered, feeling embarrassed at being caught. Tate chuckled, saying, What would I do without you? Before heading into his office. That was amusing, he thought to himself. Seeing Shauna flustered pleased him, reaffirming her interest in him. He wondered how he hadn't noticed it earlier, though he remained committed to Bella and loyal in their marriage, dismissing any thoughts of infidelity. Tate contacted his lawyer to initiate divorce proceedings, urging him to expedite the process if possible. Taking a moment to contemplate the divorce, Tate allowed himself to feel a final wave of sorrow for his once happy marriage before pushing it aside. There were pressing matters at hand, the company to safeguard, and the livelihoods of thousands depending on him. Shauna, please come in, he called. Yes, sir, she responded promptly, entering with her iPad. Shauna, prepare a press release announcing my sister's resignation. Also, summon Paul Daniels immediately. I intend to officially promote him to the position he's been handling during her absence. Shauna hesitated briefly before asking, Should I arrange a press conference as well, or just the release? Just the release. Any inquiries should be directed to media relations. Paul has earned his new role. Also, I'm filing for divorce, Tate added. Shauna didn't look up from her tablet but managed a brief smile. I'll coordinate a joint release with Bella later this week to announce a cordial separation. We must ensure it doesn't affect our share value. I won't be available for questions. Refer any inquiries to Paul if the press contacts you. He observed her jotting down notes on her tablet and asked, Any questions? None, sir. All right. Carry on. As she rose to leave, he halted her with a question. Shauna, what are the company's policies on fraternization? She regarded him with curiosity before responding. There are two. For non-executive employees, managers cannot have relationships with direct subordinates. For executives, they cannot be involved with board members. There are exceptions for departmental transfers and HR waivers under specific conditions. He smiled and acknowledged, Thank you, Shauna. She nodded and departed. What was that about? She pondered. Is he interested in someone from the company? The week passed without any major issues. The announcements of his sister's resignation and his divorce had little impact on the share price. By Friday, Bella had signed the divorce papers, and his attorney assured him the process would be quick since the prenup was solid. To ensure Bella didn't contest the divorce, Tate sweetened the deal by buying her a condo. On Saturday, while running on the treadmill, Tate thought about the past week and his breakfast with Shauna and Mickey. He decided to take a chance and went to the office, hoping to see them there. He wanted it to appear as if it were another casual encounter, rather than him planning to see them. As he pulled into the parking lot, he had second thoughts. Was it too soon to get to know Shauna on a personal level? He decided to take it slow and play it cool. Starting with some casual breakfasts and lunches would be the perfect way to get to know her better. He opened the door quietly and admired her heart-shaped figure as he entered the room. "Good morning, Shauna," he said. She had her back to him and jumped in surprise. "Mr. Morgan, you startled me. I'm sorry." "Good morning, sir. Let me make you some coffee." "Only if you're having some. I won't be here long." "Okay." She wasn't planning to have any, but went to make a pot anyway. "Hey, little man," he said to Mickey, who was playing with Matchbox cars. "Hi, Mr. Tate. Want to play cars?" "Sure, I can play. Do you know what kinds they are?" "Yeah, this is a Porsche, this is a race car, this is a Jaguar, and this is a Ford. Mommy has a Ford." "Oh yeah? Uh-huh. Have you ever seen a real Jaguar?" he asked, using the child's pronunciation. "Nope." "Let's go by the window." He picked up the boy and carried him to the window. "Look down there. See the silver car? That's my Jaguar. Can I go for a ride?" "Well, that's up to your mom. I'll tell you what. How about we go for pancakes again and take my car? What do you think about that? Can I have whipped cream this time?" Laughing, Tate said, "That's up to your mom, bud." Shauna was in the kitchen, waiting for the coffee to brew. She was curious why Tate was in the office that day, as he rarely worked on weekends and never two in a row. She speculated that his impending divorce might allow him to work Saturdays without his wife's disapproval. She didn't expect that he wasn't there to work at all and was unaware that he hadn't even logged into his computer. She walked into his office and saw him playing with toy cars alongside her son. "Ahem. I have your coffee, Mr. Morgan." "Thank you." "You don't have to entertain him, sir. He's fine. Don't let him distract you from your work." "No way. Miss a chance to play cars? Not a chance. By the way, would you and Stinky like to go for pancakes again?" "I'm not Stinky," Mickey protested. "No, Mr. Morgan. You don't have to do that." "You're right. I want to. So, yes then?" "Sure. That would be nice." "Great. Let me know when you're ready to go. I'll keep Stinky busy." "Give me 10 minutes and I'll be ready." "Oh, if it will be that quick, Mickey wanted to ride in my car. Would you mind if I moved his booster seat to my back seat?" "He wanted to ride in your car?" "Yeah, he has a little Jaguar here, so I showed him my real one." She laughed at his use of the boy's mispronunciation, then said, "Okay. I'll meet you downstairs then. Come on, Stinky, let's check out my car." This began a series of weeks where he pretended to work on Saturdays and took them to breakfast. They only engaged in small talk and never discussed anything personal. Tate didn't ask about her past or Mickey's father, and she didn't offer any information. 60 days later, his divorce was finalized, and the publicity subsided. Alan Brown won the nomination and was favored to defeat a brash businessman from Texas, the Republican nominee. Carly attended therapy sessions, and their mother kept Tate updated on her progress. Though he refused to engage with Carly, he was pleased she was getting help and doing well, especially for his mother's sake. Feeling free from the shadow of his marriage, Tate decided to take his relationship with Shauna to the next level. He noticed that she no longer seemed as sad when he pulled into the parking lot, hoping it meant she was happier and that he played a part in that. One dark September morning he arrived at the office, but didn't see Shauna. Her desk was empty and his calls went straight to voicemail while his texts went unanswered. Growing increasingly concerned, a woman knocked on his door. "Good morning, I'm Jan. Shauna fell yesterday and is in the hospital. They're keeping her for observation. She has a nasty concussion. I'll be here for the week." He jumped up and grabbed his keys. "Cancel all my appointments for today. Which hospital is she at?" "St. Alexander's. She's in room 1102. All right, send 24 white roses and one of those large get-well-soon bouquets to her. Use my card here." He dashed out the door and sped to the hospital. He hurriedly made his way to room 1102 and found her sleeping. Visiting hours were still an hour away, but no one saw him enter. In the dark room, he noticed a couch by the window and a recliner chair next to the bed. He sat in the chair, holding her hand. With his free hand, he checked his email and read the news, never letting go of her left hand with his right. A nurse came in after half an hour and smiled at him. "Our secret. Just don't wake her," she said. He nodded his thanks. As soon as visiting hours began, an older woman entered the room and was startled to see him holding her hand. She smiled at him and said, "Mr. Morgan, I presume?" "Yes, ma'am. Are you her mother?" "Yes. Thank you for the beautiful flowers you sent me." "My pleasure. Thank you for helping her with Mickey so she can work crazy hours. You're here rather early, aren't you?" "I came as soon as I heard. I'm considering firing whoever didn't call me immediately when they were notified she was hurt." "Oh, don't blame them. I called the main line and left a message. I didn't have a way to contact you directly, and she was out of it." "Okay. How is she?" "She'll be all right, I think. She was experiencing dizzy spells, so they wanted to keep her under observation." "What happened?" "The handrail on the house steps broke. She lost her balance and fell backward onto the sidewalk." He released Shauna's hand and called his maintenance manager. "Frank, it's Tate Morgan. I need you to get Shauna's address from the temp and send someone to her house immediately. The railing on her front steps broke, and she's in the hospital because of it." "I'll send Mike over right away. We'll take care of it." "Thanks, Frank." He hung up, and Shauna's mother smiled as he took Shauna's hand again. "So, Mr. Morgan, you've been spending a lot of Saturdays with my daughter and grandson." "Yes, it's our routine to have breakfast together after work on Saturdays." "When are you going to take her on a real date?" Before Tate could answer, feeling embarrassed, Shauna groggily said, "Mom, leave him alone." Tate stood up and asked, "How are you feeling? Do you need some water? Pain meds?" She smiled and opened her eyes. Squeezing his hand in gratitude, she said, "Don't fuss over me. I'm okay." A nurse came in with a flower delivery. "Well, someone is loved. These roses are beautiful." As Shauna read the card, he said, "They're from the company." "Company, huh? Well, they are beautiful, thank you." She handed him the card, and it read, "Get well soon. Love, Tate." He frowned, wishing Jan wasn't a temp so he could fire her. Shauna smiled at him and said, "I know that look. Don't you dare fire her." "Okay. Well, it's the thought that counts, right?" "Sure." Later that day, her mother left, but Tate stayed behind. She decided to break the ice and asked, "Sir, why are you still here with me? Not that I mind, but you have a business to run. Nothing is more important to me right now than you. There's no place I'd rather be." "That's sweet. Thank you." "It's funny what your mom said earlier. I was actually going to ask you out to dinner when I got to work today." "Really?" "Yes, seeing you looking out the window for me every morning is one of the highlights of my day, and what we do on Saturdays is amazing. I thought it would be even better if I took it up a notch." "I didn't know you noticed me doing that." "I know it's just so you know when to pour my coffee, but I get to see you without you noticing me looking. You used to look so sad. It seemed like your quiet time, alone with your thoughts." "Do I still look sad?" "Not for a couple of months. I'm thinking of happier things now, but this isn't the time for that discussion." "So is that a yes to dinner?" "Yes." "Love, Tate, Jan?" he asked before she could even say good morning. "Did I do something wrong, Mr. Morgan? When you mentioned white roses, I thought that's what you wanted." "Why?" "White roses symbolize everlasting love." "Wow, I had no idea." he said, shaking his head. Don't worry about it. She loved them. Tate and Shauna were seated in the lounge of his favorite restaurant, waiting for their table. Both were sipping glasses of white wine and enjoying each other's company when Tate asked, "Can I ask about Mickey's father? You never mention him, and it seems like he's not around." She dreaded this moment and took a sip before replying. "No, he's never been around. Mickey has never met him." "Oh, sorry, a deadbeat dad, huh?" "Not exactly. Let's save that conversation for after dinner, okay?" "Sure, I didn't mean to touch a nerve. It's all right. We need to discuss it eventually. It might as well be tonight." He pulled into her driveway and turned off the car. He turned to her and said, "I had a wonderful time tonight." "Me too. Thank you for dinner. Would you like to come in for a drink and a chat?" He could sense her unease, so he gave her an option. "Look, we don't have to. If you're not ready to discuss it, we can postpone." "No, let's get it over with. Honestly, you need to know, and I don't want to waste your time if you won't want to keep seeing me." "Wow. That serious? All right. Let's talk." They sat in her living room together on the couch with a glass of wine. "Tate, I'm going to tell you everything. I could have lied, but I strongly believe in never lying to you." "Okay," he said. "I was married 6 years ago to a good man. That marriage fell apart indirectly because of my pregnancy with Mickey. In college, I was a party girl. I drank, smoked pot, did some coke, took X, and slept around. I met Dale, my ex-husband, at a graduation party and fell head over heels in love with him. He was as straight-laced as they come, religious, drank very little, hated drugs, and was basically my opposite. I cleaned up my act and started dating him. We married within a year. I was so in love that it hurt. After 6 months of marriage, we went out dancing one day. I had a bit too much to drink, and while I was in the bathroom, some girls were using drugs. They offered me some, and in my intoxicated state, I accepted. When I returned to our table, I must have had traces on my nose, and Dale noticed. He got angry, and we ended up arguing. Things escalated to the point where he stormed out and left me there. Furious with him, I stayed on and continued partying. Eventually, I ended up going home with someone else I met there. The next morning, waking up in a stranger's house, I panicked. I called a cab and went home, crying the entire way. When I walked in, Dale could see what had happened and left me. I cried for hours after he left. He eventually returned, and it was then that I shared my troubled past with him. We sought counseling, and things seemed to be improving until I missed my period. When the doctor determined the due date, Dale did the math and insisted on a DNA test. We had a prenatal test done, and my worst fears were confirmed. Mickey was not Dale's child. Dale tried to cope, but couldn't handle the reminder of my betrayal every day. The divorce was finalized just 2 days before Mickey was born. I didn't pay attention to where I was taken that night and never even knew the guy's name, leaving Mickey without a father figure. He copes as best he can, though it's becoming tougher now as he interacts with other kids at school who have dads. He doesn't push the issue too hard. Tate had been holding her hand as she recounted her story, and then he responded, "I understand. So you thought that because I couldn't forgive my wife for cheating, I wouldn't want to be with you?" At that moment, they heard a voice saying, "Mommy, Mr. Tate, I can't sleep." She got up and lifted Mickey into her arms. "Tate, look after your son. I'll go. Good night, Mickey." "Good night, Shauna," he said as he departed. She took Mickey to bed, hugged and kissed him, and cried herself to sleep. Tate wrestled with what she had confided in him, getting barely any sleep. When he finally rose at 7 a.m., he felt upset but not angry. His struggle lay in reconciling his disdain for cheaters with his deep affection for her. He remained convinced of his love. Realizing it was Saturday, Tate thought about missing breakfast with Shauna and Mickey. He cherished the boy and felt pained at the thought of disappointing him by skipping their pancake breakfast and ride in the Jaguar. Tate had even bought a booster seat for Mickey's comfort. Confronting issues head-on, Tate dressed and headed to the office, intending to work through his emotions and make things right. He believed she was worth the effort. Upon entering his office, Tate noticed she wasn't at her desk but found a puddle of apple juice. Addressing Mickey, he asked, "What happened here?" Mickey shrugged. "Spilled it," he replied. "It tastes better if it goes in your mouth, buddy," Tate advised with a smile. "Mum's getting paper towels. She said you'd be mad, but you look happy," Mickey observed. "I'm always happy to see you, Stinky," Tate teased. "I'm not Stinky." "Well, I'm not mad. Are we still getting pancakes today?" Tate asked eagerly. "Mum said we can't go anymore." "Oh, she's wrong about that. I need my pancakes," Tate declared. "Me too. Extra whipped cream," Mickey chimed in. "Tate." He glanced up with a smile. "Mickey says we can't do breakfast anymore. How will I get my pancakes, Shauna?" When you left last night, I thought you wouldn't want to see me again." He stood and announced, "Mickey, we'll be right back." Taking her hand, he led her into the outer office. "Look, I was shaken last night. Am I afraid you're like my ex-wife? No. Am I worried you're some kind of addict or unfaithful? No. Am I concerned that once a cheater, always a cheater? I don't know. Tate, I would never hurt you. I know you wouldn't. Not intentionally. Dale probably would have said the same until that night." Tears welled in her eyes as he pulled her into an embrace. "Listen, I have trust issues, but I love you, and I want to work through them with you." She stepped back, alarmed. "Wait, do you really love me?" He smiled reassuringly. "Yes, I do." "I love you too," she whispered, burying her face in his shoulder. "Can we have pancakes now?" A voice chimed from behind them. "Soon, kiddo, as soon as Mommy's ready." He kissed her hand. "I'll clean up the apple juice. Keep things running here without me so we can go." With a mouthful of pancakes, Mickey asked, "Mr. Tate, can you catch?" "Sure can." "Can you catch?" "Yeah, but when I play catch with Mommy, she drops it all the time," Mickey said. Tate chuckled at the image of her dropping the ball repeatedly. "Well, Mommy might not know how to. Maybe we can teach her. Why don't you play catch with me? Then Mommy won't have to learn." A tear rolled down her cheek. Tate looked at her and flashed his warm smile. "I'll play with you, but I'll need to get a mitt." "You don't catch footballs with a mitt," Mickey laughed. "Nope. I can catch a football without one." "I can throw far. Mommy says I could be a football player when I grow up." "Sure can, buddy. What's your favorite team?" "The Bears." "Really? Your mom didn't tell me that. Would you like to go to a game with me? I have season tickets." "Yeah, can we watch them play the Packers?" "Only if Mom says it's okay." They both glanced at a smiling Shauna, tears still in her eyes. She said, "Mr. Tate can take you anywhere he wants, Mickey." Tate reached over, grabbed a piece of her bacon, and split it in half. He gave one half to Mickey and said, "Mickey, can we play catch this afternoon? I also want to see your train tracks." The boy nodded happily while munching on the bacon. Shauna remained blissful, watching Tate interact with Mickey as if he were his own son. She silently prayed that Tate wouldn't break their hearts. That night, Shauna and Tate went out to dinner, and instead of going back to her place, Tate brought her to his place. They were sitting on the couch, sipping rum and Coca-Cola. "Tate," Shauna said, "we're in a delicate situation and we have to be careful. Mickey and I are getting in touch, and if something goes wrong between us, he could get hurt." "I know. We did the opposite. We became something of a family even before we became a couple." "Well, we've known each other at work for several years. I've seen you almost every day since then, so I feel like I know you pretty well. We've been meeting informally for a couple of months now, except for our Saturday breakfasts. When I said I love you, that's exactly what I meant. Will we get married eventually? Who knows? But I will say this. I am devoted to you, and you are the one I need. Tate, can you forget about my past? I promise I'm not that person anymore. No, I can't just forget about it, but I don't need to dwell on it either. If I let it weigh on me, we'll never find peace. I want to try, and I want to trust you. You've never let me down, and I believe you won't let me down now. Tate, kiss me before I jump on you. With pleasure, my love. Tate pulled her into his arms and kissed her passionately, as if this could be their last kiss. Shall we continue this upstairs? He whispered. She muttered, standing up and allowing him to lead her into the bedroom. She pleaded softly, Be gentle. It's been many years since I was with someone last time. I promise, he assured her, laying her gently on the bed. He did exactly what they both dreamed of. A year has passed during which they became close. They had a low-key wedding surrounded by family and friends, and Tate officially adopted Mickey. Now Shauna is expecting twins, and their love for each other has only intensified. Whenever Tate comes to work and looks out the window, he sees Jen watching him. Shauna had taught Jen how to take her place, but Tate had never felt the same way when he saw Jen when Shauna was in that place. Bella tried to reconcile with Tate several times, but gave up as soon as she found out about the upcoming wedding. Eventually, she remarried and had a son. Tate learned from his investigator about Bella's involvement in intimacy with Carly and Alan, but chose to keep it a secret in order to save his mother from unnecessary worries about Carly's scandalous life. Against the advice of Tate and her lawyer, Carly agreed to pay significant compensation to Bill Frayne, the husband, one of Carly's partners in the infamous recording. This led to Bill releasing a story that eventually forced President Alan Brown to resign in disgrace over the scandal. After everything settled down, Alan and Carly, much to Tate's surprise, reunited. Carly always claimed that they were in love with each other and understood that their marriage should be open. Tate maintained minimal contact with them and never asked if they were still doing this.